Hello there, good evening, and welcome to Blather, where Saul Montes-Bradley, the largest human repository of useless information from Florida, and my good friend from California, Thomas Wictor, the only living expert in World War I flamethrowers, are going to blather away an hour or two of your time and ours, and hopefully enjoy ourselves doing it. Thomas, before I say anything, I forgot to tell you that this time we're also starting in YouTube simultaneously. Alas, for just a few minutes, because most of the stuff we want to talk about today, from the situation in Ukraine to the situation in Mar-a-Fiasco and Senator Stevens and a few lovely things. If we say them in YouBoob, they're going to send their goons and open my empty safe. So, fuck them. We're starting so that people who are still subscribing in YouTube can see us. And I already put in the chat over there a link to follow us when we cut off transmission to that ungodly place. That said, how are you doing, my friend?
Oh, I'm good. Today I finished translating this book, which was written in 1922, and it's the title in English is Assault Troops and Flamethrowers. And the interesting thing, a lot of people say things are horrible nowadays. Well, okay, this was written in the old style German writing called Fraktur. And when I used to translate from Fraktur, I had to write the whole thing out myself. Using today's technology, I joined a website. I can scan pages from the book, upload it to the website, and it changes the Fraktur into modern German. Then I can copy and paste the modern German into an online translation site. So I was able to translate this whole thing, which is a couple hundred pages long. I was able to translate it in just a couple of months, and I'm going to publish it. And the guy who wrote this was the commander of the 10th Company, and I also bought the collection of photos from one of the platoon commanders of the 10th Company. So I'm going to put that book and all those photos together in one book. So I'm happy because I hate translating. It's really it's drudgery, especially when you're just doing straight.
No, I know. I have a new system, AI, that allows me to translate instantly, and it translates not word by word like idiocies like Google Translate or something like that, which result in something in a foreign language that is incomprehensible. But it translates using the words in context and idioms, so that you have a much better translation. Of course, you still have to edit it, and you still have to double check some things, but it cuts down a lot of time. Artificial intelligence translation. Absolutely fascinating.
This will be my 4th military history book, and I used passages from this book. It took me several days just to write down, type, reading the Fraktur. I can read Fraktur, and just typing that into, say, Babel or Google Translate or whatever. Just a few paragraphs, a couple pages. It took days, and it's military blah blah. So it's a grind. It's not like I'm translating a novel or poetry or anything like that. So this is a manual. This is how to fight, and it's a lot of people wanted to read it, so I finally translated it, but it ain't my cup of tea, just because the guy who wrote it, uses a lot of exclamation marks. Do not noise, silence, and I don't know. It's 100 years old, so.
Achtung, diabol!
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, it was a blast in the sense that I got to use all this new technology that is quite amazing. And if I paid a human translator to translate that, it would be $5,000 easily minimum. You know, I translators are angry at machine translation, but I can't pay somebody $5,000 to translate a book that's going to sell maybe 500 copies. You know, come on.
No, no, you can. You can always pay me $5,000. No, thank you very much. But it's just because you're being kind-hearted. It's not worth it.
No, it's not worth it. And I don't, you know, just between you and me, I don't trust anybody anymore. I've been burned so many times by people who I hired to do stuff like this, and I have never once had somebody finish on time or produce the product that they promised. And
you've learned never to pay until you get a finished product to your satisfaction, right?
Oh yeah, exactly. And that usually means, you know, I mean, there's that old adage: if you want something right, do it yourself. And now I have the ability to do it myself, and it's fine. It's fine. I get to put translated by Thomas Wictor on this thing, and that's the truth.
And of course, you get to do it on demand. I can tell you how to do it.
Yeah. No, see, okay, I'm gonna sell it to a company called Schiffer. Schiffer is very smart in that they buy and publish everything, and they make their money by selling hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of titles, and 100 copies of this title, 100 copies of that title, 500 copies of that title. They don't do what the other publishing houses. They don't publish almost anything because they want that one book that's going to sell 1 million copies.
Yeah.
And Schiffer sells a million titles at 100 copies each, you know, so they're ahead of the game. And, you know, they published my last 3 books, so they'll publish this one. I hope if I ask, we'll see if the recession is a consideration. But the recession.
Hurry up! Talk to them next week. Don't wait a month.
Well, okay, we're what, 90 days from the election. If the Republicans do a really good job, I expect the stock market to recover. Like immediately.
I expect that too.
And then, of course, we'll have to wait another month until the Republicans can actually take power in 2023. And then the question becomes, what can they actually do? Will they have enough?
Not much. But because you see, to pass any law, you still need the geriatric potato to sign on it, and he's not going to do it. And I doubt very much that we're going to have enough to overcome a veto. So, but still.
Yeah.
The good news is that if Republicans are in Congress, it's not what they can do, it's what they can stop.
Yeah, exactly.
You have a guarantee that for 2 years, there's not going to be another porcupine bill, another global warming, futurized age, my ass itches bill, or crap like that. And just by putting a stop to the madness, things improve.
Okay, we need to clear up something. There's all this this fake news going on out about the IRS is now going to be armed and you know they're going to kill us all.
Shit! There is one here. We came in through the window like a SWAT team. No, they didn't.
The ad that they're talking about was for agents in the Criminal Investigation Division, the CID. They are police officers. They are not IRS agents. They are police officers working for the IRS.
Law enforcement.
They're law enforcement. So it's not a big deal. It's the 87,000 that they're hiring are not going to be Criminal Investigation Division agents.
But did you notice that they're putting, oh, the IRS is already hiring them, and they put the thing, you need experience in this and that, and you have to be able to carry a gun and be of a mind to use it. That ad wasn't published this month, you idiots. That ad has been there for years.
Exactly. Yeah. No.
It's like the State Department hiring diplomatic security personnel. What do you think they do?
Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt. Okay. The fake inflation law raises taxes on the middle class, and
Yes,
the new IRS agents will try their hardest to get that money, but they're still not going to be able to get it because people don't have it. I mean,
no. Number one, number two. It's not like they're getting 87,000 agents next week.
no.
It's over 10 fucking years, people.
Yeah.
They may never get to that number because long before that, we might have a different law in, say, 2025.
Exactly.
So it's yeah. I don't like it. I don't like this stupid China aid package and tax the poor. Forget about anti-inflation shit. It's like, on the one hand, we have a 15% tax on corporations that is going to go straight into pricing. And on the other hand, we have 350 billion as an economic aid package to China. Oh, I'm sorry. No, that was for the production and stimulus for electric car batteries and solar panels. Oh, yeah, a stimulus to China. Some people say it's inflationary. Not if they spend the money in China, like I think they will. The whole thing is ridiculous. Nobody's getting it.
No, and okay, we're gonna be talking tonight about Trump and Ukraine's very, very good week. The whole issue about the FBI raid on Mar-a-Lago. Okay, I saw a clip. It was on MSNBC, and whoever they were interviewing said the FBI doesn't like the word raid. And about 8 seconds after he said that, the chyron changed from raid to serving a warrant. So MSNBC said, yes, sir, we'll do exactly what you say, sir. And exactly, so much for the free press. It was a raid. Yeah. It was a raid. It wasn't serving a warrant. When you serve a warrant, you go up and you knock on the door. Okay, they knew that Trump was not considered armed and dangerous. So when you serve a warrant on someone who you know is not armed and dangerous, you don't go there with 30 people. You don't.
No, you send the sheriff.
Exactly. You don't stand outside with your rifles. It was a raid. Let's just be honest. They raided the former president's house, and that is the part that the leftists are pretending to not believe. And then on the other side, the people on our side don't understand. None of this means anything because Congress and the laws cannot stop Trump from running for president. The only conditions that apply to Trump running for president are in the United States Constitution. Trump could be
Article 1. You don't even have to spend a lot of time reading.
Exactly. Article 1 of the Constitution, that is all that matters. So Trump could be sentenced to jail and he could still be elected president.
Yes.
Congress could then try and impeach him if they wanted to, but Trump serving a jail sentence could still be elected president.
Yes. I didn't find any provision in the Constitution that says that you cannot elect somebody in a federal penitentiary.
We could have elected Charles Manson if we wanted to.
Yes.
So that's what our side needs to understand. All this jibber jabber about them using this to disqualify Trump, it can't be done. And then the third part of all of this is that you really need to read the warrant. The warrant is so blatantly unconstitutional, and it's going to, anything that they try and use against Trump is going to be thrown out because they absolutely violated his Fourth Amendment rights. They basically, the warrant says, go to Trump's house and take everything you can carry. That's what the warrant says.
Yes. Yeah, that goes from top secret documents to shopping lists written in toilet paper.
Exactly. The FBI, the warrant allows the FBI to take every single piece of paper that Trump read, saw, and touched when he was president. This is blatantly unconstitutional.
It's too vague. It's too. There is no probable cause for such amplitude. I'll go a step further on that one, if you don't mind. The notion that if President Trump is impeached or found guilty, he cannot be elected president, that's bullshit. Their expectations is that he won't be elected president, but the exact opposite is happening. One of the things you always know is don't make a martyr out of your enemy, because when you do, you're screwed. When the Bolivian government killed Che Guevara, he became a saint. San Ernesto de la Higuera, and the people who, while he was alive, didn't give a flying crap about him, suddenly became guerrillas all over Bolivia, and he created a trouble that lasted 20 years. He was far more valuable to the revolutionaries as a martyr than he ever was when he was a bumbling idiot. Here is the same thing. They're energizing Trump. They're energizing his supporters. A lot of people who were not totally sold on Trump, who, maybe supported him reluctantly, or, maybe we need to find somebody else in the Republican Party because he's too abrasive or too this or too that, or mean tweets. Now we're saying, no, this is intolerable. We need to support this guy because they cannot get away with it. And a lot of wishy-washy, middle-of-the-road people are actually going into Trump's side, and his fundraising is going through the roof.
Well, that's the thing. They strengthened the will of his existing supporters, and they created an entire new stratum of new supporters. And by all accounts, the Department of Justice and the FBI thought that there would be no reaction to this. That's how out of touch with reality these people are. They thought there would be no reaction to them raiding the home of a former president.
Yeah, and they gave us an unending source of material. I mean, the picture of the FBI agent sniffing Melania's panties, I think it's in many people's minds, and it's not going away easy. If they wanted to ridicule themselves, they couldn't have found a better way.
Well, here's another thing. Fox News has had several of Trump's lawyers on. They all seem to be extremely good-looking young women, interestingly enough. And one of them said that the whole Trump family gathered together at Trump Tower, and they watched the whole raid on TV. So the Trumps recorded the entire raid. So now
the DOJ wants a copy of that.
Well, people in hell want ice water. I mean, okay, the DOJ told the Trump staffers that they were not allowed to videotape the search. And then one of the lawyers immediately said, and so they turned off the camera for the time it took the lawyer to say, what are you talking about? Of course it's all right to videotape the search. Turn the cameras on. And then they turned them back on mere seconds later. And the FBI had no answer to that, so they just went about. Trump has videos of them going through Melania's clothes.
Yes. And my recommendation to Trump is by all means give them a copy and then publish the whole thing on Truth Social.
Use it in political ads.
Yes. With music out of I don't know, Benny Hill.
Or if you really want to be, I mean, make it horrifying. Make it, make it in black and white.
I believe in the power of ridicule. I believe in the agents moving in fast camera with half-naked wenches and all that jazz. Laugh at them.
Well,
that's what they fear more than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of they hate ridicule. I mean, they want to be feared, but the problem with all of this, I mean, it's what's so okay. What the FBI and the DOJ have proven is that they believe all their own propaganda. So they think Trump is hated. They believe that the whole country feels about Trump the way they feel.
The way they do, yeah.
And that's demented. I don't watch, I don't watch MSNBC. I don't watch the Young Turks. I don't watch any of that. But I certainly know that they exist, and I certainly know that maybe about 20% of the country feels that way about Trump. I acknowledge that they exist, and I acknowledge that maybe 30% of the country would have a really hard time voting for Trump, and they couldn't explain to you why, other than mean tweets and really childish, irrational stuff like that. I acknowledge that. These people don't even acknowledge the fact that more than half the country supports Trump and thinks he's just fine. They won't even acknowledge that. They may not even know that.
Yeah. By the way, let me interrupt for 1 second, because what came to my mind is the discussion about why they're doing this before an election, and I'm going to use vocabulary that the thought police in YouBoob will identify as a violation of the safety of some critic in a safe room or something. So I'd like to thank everybody who's watching us on YouTube. I did put in the chat in YouTube and in the description right under this program the link so that you can hit it and continue watching us in Odysee. And
we can say
then just click the button, follow us here, and ditch the boob. And that's exactly what I'm going to do now. Hold on just 1 second. And off we go.